Hello, 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 hello. This is Britt with Truth Be Told podcast, episode number 7 with Miss Stella, setting boundaries. How are you today?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am doing great. I
Good.
actually just got back home I forgot that I set the interview up the same day that my daughter had an appointment. She had a doctor's appointment, and it's
Oh, wow.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Ah,
And it's funny that we're talking about setting boundaries because I'm like, okay, Brittany, you need to set better boundaries for yourself because you should
yeah.
have known looking at your clock. I mean, your agenda. But first, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today, taking a little bit of your time to let the audience know how important it is to set boundaries. In my last episode, I was talking about building relationships in your darkest times.
Okay.
And I thought that this would be a good follow up behind that because when you're building relationships, you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
So, if you could please just give us a little bit of background and let us know what you're doing, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me to this um, very awesome platform. I checked out a couple of your other episodes, and I really like the type of conversations that you have. I am a mental health advocate slash enthusiast. I think that let's say in the last couple of years, mental health and making sure that I understand what's going on with me has been very, 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 very pivotal in my life. I've had a lot of ups and downs, and I feel as though um, kind of ensuring that I understand what's going on with myself is the only reason why I'm here. I felt suicidal at times. I had, very serious things happen with my health. So mental health is key. Understanding relationships with others is very, very key as well. Checking in with yourself is important too. And so I really thank you for having this platform where all of those things can be addressed. I mentioned I'm a mental health advocate. That's kind of what I do. I guess in my spare time. Professionally, I am a public health communications specialist. I work for
Oh, wow.
yeah, I work for the federal government right now. Of course, like everybody else, we focus on COVID. But yeah, so that's my day job. I am married. I do have children, and I just like to keep a lens on conscious behaviors, making sure that I'm intentional about most of the things that I do in my life. 360, and I feel that you never stop learning. You never stop understanding how best to position yourself to get the best out of your life. And as we learn as mothers, we inherently teach our children the same things that we learn as well. And so when you're thinking about setting boundaries, that's one of the things that I thought about this morning when I was taking a shower. I was like, wow, okay, as I set more boundaries with myself in my life as a mother, I'm also giving my children the freedom and the passport to ensure that they do the same things as well. Because I think a lot of times as parents, we are always so hell bent on making sure that our children do A, B, C, D, and E,
Right.
right? We have them on a schedule. We make sure they're, you know, eating healthy, making sure they're doing well in school, make sure they're having good relationship with family and friends. But we also need to ensure that we give them that latitude to be like, yeah, ma, I don't want to go and see Uncle Larry today, or I don't want to do this. Make those things are safe, right? But
Right.
they should be able to kind of make their own decisions and have, um, I guess a larger level of autonomy than than previously thought. So I think I'm kind of rambling. Please feel
No,
free to.
you're awesome. I'm actually taking in everything you're saying. I
Yeah,
think that it's very important that you set boundaries and that you're giving your kids the lead way to set boundaries at a young age, because
exactly.
I don't think that our generations before did much of that. We had more of, I know. I did. My mom was very, like you said, on a tight schedule.
Yeah.
I lived in a bubble for a while. I really, because I said, gosh, mama, like, it's a lot of stuff you didn't show me, and it's not intentional. It's just like now that I'm like 34 years old, I'm learning along the way, and I'm showing my 14-year-old, who is my oldest, the
Okay.
same stuff as well, you know,
Okay.
because I need her to understand that mental health is so real. It's just as big as, you know, taking care of your physical body.
Exactly.
Sometimes
Exactly.
we don't, we sometimes we neglect our mental, thinking like, oh, we can come back and do that. But if your head is not together, like if your mind is not together, if you don't have that self-confidence, if you're not building those relationships, then how can you set boundaries in between? Like you said, you have kids and your husband and even people at work. Do you ever feel guilty with saying no
Yes.
sometimes? Yeah.
I feel guilty a lot. I have recently, I guess, started the healing process with anxiety. So I do get very, very anxious and feel very nervous about setting boundaries. But I understand that it's necessary because at the end of the day, if you don't set those boundaries, the person that'll suffer is going to be you.
Oh, yes.
There was a quote that I saw yesterday on, I think it was on Instagram. You know how these quotes will be going around? And the quote says, "The real flex is training your boundaries to be stronger than your empathy and your feelings. Takers have no limits. Your boundaries are your limits." And that quote kind of stuck out to me because I mean we've all been around people that will
What?
take.
Girl, you giving me butterflies.
Yeah, they will take as much as you're willing to give, but we have to be strong and be like, yeah, I love you, but yo, I'm checking out today. I gotta go.
Hmm.
What do you have to go do? Doesn't matter what I have to go do. I
Hmm.
just have to go. So understanding that you have to put yourself first sometimes, and you have to teach people how to treat you. I think that that was one of the first lessons that I kind of got as a young lady. You know, you start
Hmm.
dating, you start going out with different young gentlemen. You have to actually show what you're ready for, what you are willing to take, and what you're not willing to take. And putting your foot down is a good step to making sure that you're putting your boundaries in place. And it's
Yeah, I definitely
oh,
agree with what you're
so
saying.
much.
And it's
And this,
hard because some people, they'll take advantage, like you said, the takers,
yep,
um, they'll take advantage of you. But if they're in your tribe, if they're really in your village, then they'll understand, like, okay, Stella's having a day, or Stella needs a moment, and we're going to let her have her day, her moment, whatever time she needs. I have started really just ignoring those people that give that energy to want more,
right.
simply because it's not helping me. And like you said, you have anxiety. I do too. Like right before the interview, yeah, I have really bad anxiety. That's really one reason why I started this platform, because I needed some type of outlet for me to express and show you guys what I'm going through. These topics are related to me. Every topic that I come up with, and then like just researching and coming into Stella, like your energy. People say that you can't meet people over the internet and really get to know them, but your profile and what you put out there, it speaks volumes, and yours speak a lot to me.
Thank
I
you.
When I first found you, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get her on here. Like, I hope she says yes, because your energy is amazing through social media. So I just wanted to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. Thank you. And likewise,
Yeah.
definitely right back at you. Thank you so much.
You said that now that you're working through your anxiety, as far as it
Yeah.
being on a high level, and while you're setting those boundaries, if there's some things that you can tell us that you're doing that helps you, that could possibly help someone else as they're trying to set boundaries and release some anxiety.
Yeah, sure. One of those things, I guess the first thing that I do when I think about setting boundaries holistically in my life, whether that's with a family member, with somebody with work, or even with my children,
Mhm.
is to actually have more compassion for myself because I think a lot of my anxiety my is rooted in self-worth issues that I feel as though I am not due the type of space and respect and latitude to rest that I actually am. So actually having those affirmations to myself saying, you are worthy, you are loved, you are enough, and you can have anything you want to have.
Mhm.
Making sure that I look into the mirror and pour love into myself is step one for me, because of the background that I have. Step two is is actually understanding the relationship that you want to have with that person, because
Mhm.
a lot of times when you look around and you monitor, you kind of take an audit of your relationship. Like, let's say I'll take a relationship with my mom, for example. I love my mom, but I feel that she does these specific things that I need her not to do.
Gosh, you're talking to
So
me.
yeah, so you say, okay, I love this person. I'm coming from a place of love,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
your love doesn't allow you to be able to disrespect me in this way.
Mhm.
And what I do is I didn't do this in the last situation with my mom. I just kind of went off the cuff because I was tired. Anyway, but I kind of role play it to make sure that I'm speaking from a place of compassion, and that
Right.
compassion does not take away from what I'm saying. A lot of times, especially us as Black women, we tend to kind of shrink,
Mhm.
and everybody else's opinion matters more than ours. Oh, okay, if that's what you want. Oh, okay. No, mm-mm. I love you. Don't share pictures of my children on the internet. Period. That was the situation that I was in.
Girl, we can have some coffee. Your mama sound like mine a little bit in a good way.
What? And so I said it just like that, period. And that ruffled a lot of feathers. Of course, she told my sister, and then everybody was like, "Why you telling mama this?" Listen, she may be unhappy with it, but at the end of the day, they're my children,
Right.
and that's it. So understanding, number one, come from a place of compassion, but still stand your ground.
Mhm.
Number two, yeah, it may ruffle some feathers, but a lot of times growth comes out of those uncomfortable moments. Your mother needs to understand that, yo, there are boundaries. Even with your grandchildren, yes, there are
Mhm.
boundaries. And number three, you're going to be better for it, because I could have gone and be talking ish like a lot of us in family do. You be talking ish to this person, talking this. What? For what? I'm too grown for that. Listen,
No, just
24
go
hours
straight
in
to the
a day.
source.
You understand what I'm saying? Go straight to the source, ruffle the feathers. At the end of the day, okay, I love you. I love you. All right. Take as many pictures as you want. Put them in your phone. Show them to your friends in person, but don't put them on the internet. And then that's it. And I actually was able to go and explain. Okay, these children are young. There's a lot of people on the internet, predators, all this type of stuff that I don't even want to deal with. You don't want
Right.
to deal with either.
Right.
So let's just keep it private. So understanding that boundaries are necessary for your own peace of mind, and they actually may result in your relationship with the person that you're setting the boundaries with growing. On the other hand, if you set those boundaries, like let's say you tell a friend, listen, I love you, but 8 o'clock, after 8 p.m. is me time. Don't be calling me with, you know, all
Right.
this stuff. I wanna give you a download of my day. Oh girl, that's what happened. No, let's do that before 8 o'clock, because after 8 o'clock is my me time. If
Right.
that friend is like, girl, you tripping, I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay, yeah. It's okay. Step back from that friendship. The
Mhm.
person is the person isn't ready. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to kind of put people on ice for a little bit when they're ready to treat you with the level of respect that you should be treated with. Then welcome the person back with open arms. There's no beef, but don't allow people to just be able to walk all over you
Take
and not,
advantage.
yeah, take advantage.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not respect your boundaries. It's something that's very important.
I think for the longest for me, it was really because I'm such a compassionate and person, it's easy sometimes you can run over me if I
Yes,
allow you to.
if
And
you
I had
allow.
to learn. Yeah, I had to really learn that with childhood friends or people that I'm even outgrowing. Like I know I have outgrown you just even by the conversations that we have. We can't even sometimes I have a conversation with somebody and I know I've outgrown them, not thinking that I'm better, because I never think that I'm better than anybody. It's just where I'm at on my journey. And
Right.
I can talk to you and it just feel like I'm talking to the fly on the wall. Like, it's like we keep having the same conversation, or you're still talking about something that when I met you 6, 7, 8 years ago, or 10, 12, 13 years ago. I'm like, we're not the same people. We grow and we change every day. We grow and we change every day, and people don't understand that. And I have got to the point now, Stella, to where I'm kind of just like nonchalant, and I don't care no more. I don't care if I lose that friendship, then it's not supposed to be here anymore. Exactly. And I still love you, but I can go on.
And you have to get to that point, because if not, you'll find yourself almost like, not necessarily quote unquote chasing pavements like the Adele song, but you'll be running after people, and it'll be like, for what? What are we doing this for? We all have lives. We all have people that depend on us, and there's other things for us to concern ourselves with emotionally. So what's for you is for you. You know, those relationships that you know that are going to be stimulating, you're gonna help each other grow in different ways. Those are the ones that'll kind of I guess magnetize in your direction anyway. So
yeah, I think that's true, because a lot of my friends, they're always like, oh, like I have a certain amount, they know this is how I am. Like, and I'm not trying to use that as an excuse. It's just a wall that I have made myself put up with friends, and even my brother, my sister, my mother. Like, I love them to death as well. But like where I'm at mentally, sometimes my mom, she just doesn't get it. It's like, why are you acting like that? Or like you said, you had an episode. I had an episode with my mom too. That's why you were giving me chill bumps, because I was like, I just had an episode with my mom. And I know my mom was like, oh, where did that come from? But you know me. Like, you keep poking the bear. You keep poking the bear, poking the bear, poking the bear. And then when I explode, everybody's like, oh, Brittany's tripping. No, I'm not tripping. Like,
she do it again.
Right. How do you do that with your husband? That's hard. So
it's very
tell me some tips on that one, because I would love to know what I can do to set those boundaries with my husband as well.
So I have been married for, oh my God, 4 years this year.
Congratulations.
Wow. So yes, I've been married for 4 years this year. Our relationship has been difficult. I'll be completely straight up and saying that. I think that we met each other at a time in our lives where we were already pretty much established. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was about, I think I was about 34.
Girl, bye. You are not older than 34.
A little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, I think I was about 30, either 33 or 34. I don't really remember when we got married. So meeting somebody at 33, 34 versus meeting somebody at 23 is two totally different things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So already kind of set in our ways. So it took us a little bit of work to really be able to speak the same language. We were in therapy for a while, and I think we probably will still be dibbing and dabbing into therapy going on in the future. But what works for us is constant conversations, checking in with each other. Okay, when I said this, how did it make you feel? Because in my relationship, I am not confrontational at all. I shy away from confrontation, and that has been a problem. So one of the key things that I have been learning with boundaries is that you should never assume. You have to share what you want, share how you want to be treated. Because if you don't, and you're treated in a way that you don't want to be treated, you can't get mad because you never said something, right? So that's been the thing that I've had to do a lot of, speaking up in a way that's respectful, speaking up in a way that's loving, that lets the other person know, I'm listening to you. This is what I request, and I hope you'll be able to meet that request, and leave it at that. There's things that we're still working on, but I feel as though the air, I guess the air between us is less full of tension. There's not as tension as there used to be since I've started speaking up. So yeah, I think things are good. Things are
That's
good. And the
awesome.
reason why I wasn't speaking up before was that I was always afraid of the repercussions. Oh, if I say this, then he's not going to be happy. Oh, if I say this, then he may say this. But now,
You speak your mind.
and if he's not happy, then that's okay. We're not supposed to be happy 100% of the time
Right,
anyway. Let's
right.
just be real. Marriage is not no fairy tale. Relationships are not fairy tales. So we have to be real with ourselves and be like, yo, either I speak up or I don't speak up, and then it's going to be the unhappiness will be even multiplied in the future. So let's speak up. Let's deal with the issue. Let's skin the cat. Whatever. If we need to have a knockdown, drag out, verbal
Right.
fight, let's have that verbal interchange or exchange or whatever, and we'll get on with
I love that because for
it.
me in my marriage, I never knew that speaking up and actually having those conversations instead of those arguments can
Yes,
get a person to listen to you
yes,
instead of
exactly,
it just going, one ear out the other. And it's okay
exactly,
for you guys to agree to disagree because you're two different people. Yeah.
exactly. You have to agree to disagree. Learning how to actually quote unquote what am I trying to say? Conflict resolution is very, very key. You have to really be very mature and understand how to communicate your feelings, how to disagree respectfully, and how to move on after a
Mhm.
disagreement has already occurred. Those things are I think game changers in marriage. I think that before I got married, those things were never that big of a deal. You know, you with a boyfriend, you do something too crazy to me, that's it.
You
You
gone.
you know what I'm saying? You out of here. But once you get married, children, you have to really make sure that you are able to communicate why you're upset, listen to the other person, and work to a resolution that makes the most sense for both of you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that your energy is amazing. Just I don't know if I've said that before, but
thank you.
I'm always reaching out to people who I feel like the topic just speaks to that person. And so what you taught me today is pretty much just having, especially with my husband, because sometimes I'm opposite of you. I'm going off the rails. You're going
Okay,
to, yeah. When he
all right.
knows, right. So that helped me understand because he's not confrontational at all. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's going to be confrontational, he'll shy away from it. He don't want to
Mm,
talk about it, or he'll try to sweep it under the rug and be like,
mm,
okay, just whatever. And then I'm like, no, we're going to talk about this right now, or
mm,
it's going to be bad because then, like I said, I always say I'm the calm and he's my calm before the storm because I'm the storm. So,
okay.
so he always gets me going. So I definitely appreciate you giving us some insight on how you manage those relationships with your husband and your kids and even
Yeah.
people at work. As far as young adults, and I know you said this a little earlier, we got into it as far
Mhm.
as like you teaching your child. What are some of
Right.
the things that you can tell some of the younger kids, especially the Black kids? Because I think a lot of stuff comes from childhood trauma or just childhood anyway, whatever, how we've learned to be a certain way, we wasn't taught, some of us
Mm,
wasn't
right.
taught to have boundaries, like you said. Is there something that you can relate to the younger crowd or the younger ladies as they're growing and maturing into their self?
Yeah, I think that one of the it's a very good question. Because I know from my upbringing, boundaries were not something that was respected. Um, and that even kind of, and I think that also kind of makes relationships with my parents now strained because they're like, oh, they never respected them in the beginning, so why they gonna respect them now that we're
Mhm.
older, right? So respecting boundaries is very, very important from a very young age. I think that boundaries go two ways. So the boundaries that we've been speaking about today are, previously have been boundaries with other people.
Mhm.
One of the boundaries that I think that young people, especially young ladies, probably need to focus on is boundaries with themselves, right? A lot of times we naturally navigate to places that are safe spaces. We navigate to people that we feel comfortable with. We navigate to people that we feel love emanating from that person. People that we just like to be around.
Right.
We don't necessarily communicate quote unquote safe space with this person, but we feel it. It's all a feeling. So what I would say with young ladies would be to listen to that feeling, listen to your intuition. If you feel safe going to, Auntie May's house, go to Auntie May's house. If you don't feel quote unquote safe and you don't feel a safe space, you don't feel a safe energy around Auntie Susan, for example, listen to that and don't go there, you know,
Right.
because a lot of times when we start to suppress our intuition, when we start to, okay, well, I don't really want to go, but let me go anyway because I'm forced to go. That's when stuff can go left. That's when things can happen that we don't want them to happen. So I would say, listen to your intuition. Speak up for yourself. Um, that's very difficult to do in a lot of situations, especially the younger you are. You feel as though you don't have the agency to speak up for yourself, but you do. Speak up until somebody listens. Maybe talking to X person is not going to work. Okay, that's cool. Leave X person where they at. Go and look for another person to speak up to if you feel like you need to. Those are the two main things that I would say. When
No,
I was a
you
young,
you did great. I love the
yeah,
advice.
I was such an awkward young lady. I was so awkward. So
Why were you awkward, Stella? Or why do you think you were awkward?
I'm 61. I was 61 since I was like 12 and 13. I was tall, I was skinny, I cut all my hair off. It was just awkward. And if I had had somebody when I was that age tell me to focus on safe spaces and listen to my intuition, a lot of things that happened that were supposed to happen would have been avoided.
Me
So
too.
safe spaces are, oh my God, girl, during those times it was rough in the streets. But yeah, safe spaces and speak up for yourself speak until somebody listens. That's what I would
Thank you
say.
for that advice because it was something that you said. It was learn to trust your intuition
Yes,
because, or learn to say if you don't feel safe or you don't want to go there, it's okay to say
right,
no.
right.
And that's a lot of our problems sometimes, even adults, we don't learn to say no. And then we put ourselves in a situation where, okay, now it's time for the event. And you really didn't want to go in the first place, but you already said you would go. And then when you get there, you got this stank attitude, and not necessarily stank, but everybody knows something ain't right. And
You
then
give
it
it off
just,
negativity. It's negativity that you're pushing out into the world.
yeah, it's the energy. And as soon as you get there, don't let nothing go left because as soon as something go left, it's gonna explode. And then you're just like I said, it's like a beach ball. It just explodes, and you're just trying to figure out, or everybody's trying to figure out what happened to Stella, what happened to Brittany. I should have trusted those intuition instincts before I came, and I just should have said no.
You should have said no. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
important. It's very key. I think that all of us, 'cause even now, I'm having to kind of take a take a second, take some deep breaths, and then kind of feel. And once I actually take that second and check back into myself, then my anxiety kind of decreases, and I'm able to kind of make the decision that needs to be made in the moment.
I love the advice that you've given us today. And I think that I'm really going to be checking, not think, I am. I'm going to check back in with you because the information that you're giving is funny. Like I'm going through that information or those resources right now. So I would love to, check back in with you, see how you're doing, see how you're,
Sure.
setting those boundaries. And I just want to thank you today for coming on the show. This was a short one, but this was
Okay.
very important. I love everything that you've said and the points that you've given us in the audience. It's something definitely to reflect on.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I've enjoyed this conversation. I look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Thank you, Stella. This is Truth Be Told with Brittany, and I'm sounding out. You guys have a great day. Bye.